Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again, yet with another video. How's everybody doing on this Mother's Day? I hope everybody had fun with their moms, their wives, their sisters, whoever there's a mom in your life. Even if you don't have a mom anymore, lost for death, but um, hopefully you got to spend that time with the woman in your life. With that being said, it was a great Mother's Day for me. Just got back from going out to dinner with the family, and it was a great day overall. It was. And now I just want to talk a little bit about the Cowboys. So I was just thinking about some things, and overall with this team, I'm looking at like the new coaches that we had overall. I think that a lot of the new additions that we have are going to be great for this team. As far as Sanjay, the wide receivers coach, Paul Alexander, the offensive line coordinator. Um, you look at Kris Richard, the things that he's trying to implement. I was looking at some video of him on his interviews. He really looks like he wants these DBs to really have that Legion of Boom type of effect on the Cowboys. And again, I've been screaming about this again. We play too much zone defense for me. I feel like if we would play more press man coverage, I feel like we can get more um, in the meat of the defense and get this offense that we play against, get them to a point where they're thinking before the snap, how are we going to counteract what the defense is doing for us? And looking at what Kris Richard is trying to implement on this team, I'm loving his energy. I'm loving the things that he's bringing to the table, and I feel like this defense is going to do so much better, especially in the back end. With these guys like Jordan Lewis, Xavier Woods, Chidobe Awuzie, even Anthony Brown may step up and do some things with what's going on. He already moved Byron Jones to the cornerback position. We talked about that earlier in the offseason when it happened. And he's back at his natural position. I feel like things are going to get better for this defense. And you're going to see that this training camp and this coming season that this defense, I'm pretty sure that's gonna net them more. The more pressure that we get on defense, the more it flushes the quarterback and the other team's offensive line to the point that we can get they start making mistakes, and then that's how you get interceptions and forced fumbles and things of that nature. So I'm positive about that, and I'm looking for trying to get that thing that we need, more interceptions. Now, Jeff Heath seems like he's always the leader in the defense when it comes to, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you want more than three. And you look at like the way that our numbers are going, I feel like this whole, and I was thinking about this today too, this whole committee thing that we're going through right now, as far as not having that one person that they rely on. You look at it like this with Jason Witten not being here, with Dez Bryant not being here, with these guys that are not on the team anymore that we always relied on. We call them the old reliable. Look at it like this. When you have more of a committee, it's more of a pick your poison offense or a pick your poison defense. Look at it like this. With these guys being gone, it gives these younger guys the opportunity to show what they can actually do. In essence, when they show them what they have to do, they have the confidence to get better and better. We've always had guys on this team that couldn't necessarily get better because they weren't on the team full time. They weren't on the field as much as they wanted to be. So they didn't get a chance to mature their as far as, the offense, their routes or defense as far as defending the offensive player. So when you look at it like that, you look at it like they're going to have more opportunities to be great. I know a lot of people look at the tight ends in general and they're like, okay, what are we going to do? Jason Witten's not here. Look at it like this. Dalton Schultz is a smart guy. Come on. He come from Stanford. How many of you ever applied to Stanford and actually got in? I'll wait. Yes. You got to be smart to go to Stanford. And look at Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman is a Stanford guy, and I'm not saying it because Richard Sherman's my frat brother. I'm just saying that because Richard Sherman is smart, you can tell he's intelligent about the way he talks and his knowledge of the defense and the things that he did. And that's why he was able to do the things that he was able to do with Kris Richard, with that Legion of Boom in Seattle. Now, you look at what we have now with Dalton Schultz being here, I think that him and Swain, if Swain is healthy this year, I think they're going to be a nice little tandem 1-2 punch. Because, like I said, Swain has the ability. He does. He showed flashes of that before he got injured last season. So we know that he's able to do it. We just haven't seen Dalton Schultz in action. But if you look at him in college, he wasn't asked to catch the ball as much as he was block. We know that he can block. We know that Stanford runs a pro style offense in their college um, route running. We know that he's pretty much NFL ready. He just needs the tight ends coach to basically show him how we do it in the NFL or how they do it with the Cowboys. So the thing about that is, I think that with the way that they're bringing these rookies along, they're going to learn faster than previous years because of the simple fact that they basically can concentrate on one thing, not going out there and just executing right away. They're working on their technique. So that's important, working on their technique and doing the things that they're doing right now. Now, if you go back to, speaking of technique, my whole reason for this video. So Sanjay Lal, he was hired back in January. If you guys don't know, he came from the Colts. He was the wide receivers coach for the Indianapolis Colts. He coached Ty Hilton and T.Y. Hilton and Reggie Wayne. And I think Pierre Garcon before he went to the Redskins. I think he was still there when he got there. I'm not sure, but he was also the Bills. He also coached for the Bills too. But yeah, so when he was with the Colts, you look at what he did with T.Y. Look at T.Y. T.Y. was a great route runner. T.Y. was always able to get the ball no matter what the situation was. And you look at what the Colts had, their offensive line was always great. Is hence the reason why Luck is still injured. Because he got hit a lot. Now, we benefited from that because now we have Sanjay Lal. Sanjay Lal gets hired in January. He had a conversation with Dez Bryant April 13th, which was the day that Dez got cut. Now, I'm starting to think that Sanjay has a lot of say-so in Dez Bryant being cut from his team. Now, if you look at some of the things that Will McClay said about his inconsistencies, Sanjay Lal said the same thing. But as Sanjay says it, he looks at the film from last season, and he basically said two things about Dez, two main things. Dez had inconsistencies in his play. He looked at it like this: you're getting paid this money, you shouldn't have that many inconsistencies. Whether the ball was there or not, you still shouldn't have had this many inconsistencies as far as the type of player that you should be for this team. Now, I think it's funny because he also said good things about Dez and good things that we already know about. Dez Bryant catches the ball at the highest point. You know, he's one of the best slant route runners in the league, even though he's not a great route runner altogether. But as far as that slant, that's almost like gold when it comes to Dez Bryant. That back shoulder fade, unstoppable with Dez because he can high point the ball and he can just outmuscle you with his leverage. Dez, I mean, we already know that. You see the leverage that he gets off of the player. That's where his bread and butter came from. His leverage, the back shoulder fades, and those quick slants. That's what Dez was good at. You look at that the Jacksonville game when we played in London. I think that was like a 2014 season. I think 2015. One of those. The last time we played in London, when we played against Jacksonville, we blew them out. This is before Jacksonville became Saxonville, is what they call itself now. This is before that, because Barry Church was still with us that year. You look at what Dez did in that game, 2 touchdowns for more than 50-something yards. I mean, and you go back to the Arizona game where he used his leverage and muscled into the end zone for the touchdown. Like, that's the Dez that we always knew and loved. But unfortunately, it wasn't good enough for him to still be warranted to be on this team. Now, Dez is gone. I'm not going to keep reiterating that. But I just wanted to bring that up because of the simple fact that I just thought it was interesting that Sanjay Lal said these things because it makes me think further that he's one of the main reasons why Dez is no longer here. Because you look at it like this: when you become a coordinator for a team or a position coach or whatever position you are, When you come in, these players are already here. So you don't really get to choose who's there. They're already there. You have to mold and shape what's already here. So I look at it like this. He probably was thinking like, okay, if you're going to pay him this much money, he needs to be having this sort of production and this sort of value and be doing this for you at all times, at least. It has to be a basis for me to continue to give you this much money, which is understood. Now, that goes back on to whether they would have gave him a pay cut or not, or whatever, if they had wanted him. But apparently that wasn't the case. So, with that being said, since he's no longer here, you have your basis of what we're doing now. Now, what he's doing now with these rookies and these young guys and these other young guys, he's basically coming here and he says, "Hey, I don't want to. I don't want us to work with the ball right now. No balls being thrown. I want you to work on your technique. I want you to be a technician at your job." Basically saying that like if you're a technician at your job and you're precise at your route running and your technique, the ball will come to you, which is an interesting philosophy because it's true. If your feet are right and you're where you're supposed to be at, that ball's gonna come to you. Now, I kind of wish that Sanjay was here before when Dez was here because I feel like he would have actually helped Dez. And I said this before when if you go back to my video when I was talking about my thoughts on All or Nothing, I basically was saying that like Derek Dooley, I was wondering if you look at it, and I don't mean to spoil it for those you guys haven't seen it, but if you look at the wide receivers room, Derek Dooley either wasn't there or you didn't hear him really talking much. I I felt like all you heard was Dez, and again, maybe that's another reason why he's not here because they got tired of hearing him chirp. But Derek Dooley just seemed like he was just a pushover. You're supposed to be the coach. You're supposed to be getting your guys on point and getting them to follow you, not the other way around. I felt like because Dez is a superstar and Dez is this and that and the third, I guess he felt like, okay, well, I'm going to coddle him and do what I need to do because I'm going to be buddy buddy with him. There's nothing wrong with you being buddy buddy with your players. But when it comes down to doing this work, when it comes down to getting this playbook, when it comes down to running these routes and winning these games, you better have your players on point, and you better be having them sit in that meeting room listening to you because you are the coach, and that's what you get paid for. And that's why Derek Dooley is not here anymore. Now, Derek Dooley's not here. They got Kris Richard in here. They got Sanjay Lau in here. Sanjay Lau ain't playing no games. Sanjay Lau said Dez got to go. I mean, he was even critical on T. Will. I don't think they're going to get rid of T. Will because he was also critical on Cole Beasley. The thing that he said about Cole Beasley was he said that technique wasn't his issue. He was like, it's style. I'm gonna change his style, and he has a plan for Cole Beasley. So I think Cole Beasley is still gonna be on his team. I think that T. Will might be safe as well. I think that he has a plan for both of them going forward to see what these guys can do. Um, like I said, T. Will's strength is his blocking in the run and passing game. I've said this over and over again. Sanjay Lau knows this. He's been watching play. He's been watching tape and film on all these guys. And like I said, these are the these are the criticism that he gave these guys. But I think that he's going to keep T. Will and keep Cole Beasley because I believe that he has a plan for them. Now again, I'm going to talk about your boy Michael Gallup. Third round pick. He's 6'1", 202 pounds. He ran about a 4.5 in the combine, so he's a quick little guy. And he can also high point that ball. I think it's about 36 inches he can jump. That's pretty good for a guy his height. He got those bunnies. He's got that hippity hop out there. But I'm gonna tell you, when you hear him talk in his interview, he just seems he's a humble guy. He's hungry and he's ready to go. That's what we need in here. You look at he chose the number 13, and when they asked Michael Gallup, why did you pick number 13? His response was, hey, it was available. I saw it on the shelf. I picked it up and I got it. That's basically what his answer was. I mean, it's simple as that. Most players have a significant reason why they want a number. Like Allen Hurns. He chose number 17 because of 17 victims from the school shooting, which is very admirable. because every time he goes on that field, he's going to be representing and thinking about what happened to those 17 victims in that school shooting. That's real admirable. I love to see guys doing things like this, positive things, and keeping world issues at hand, even though they're playing a sport that we all love that has nothing to do with the outside world as far as that goes. But it's great that they're incorporating their feelings because it lets us know that, hey, they're human just like everybody else. And I'm going to get into that part too. Um, Michael Gallup is interesting story about him. Played at Butler Community College in El Dorado, Kansas. A guy that really wasn't highly recruited. Now, for whatever reason, that was the case. Colorado gave him a chance. He went there and beast out. He played his 2 years there. He had like 1,400 yards. He had like, I think, 7 to 8 touchdowns that season. And he did very well for them. And that's why he ended up falling to the Cowboys in the third round. Now, every team has their scheme that they want. And I've spoken on this before. When you guys start talking about, like, you want a certain player on your team, you have to look at this. If that person does not fit the scheme, no matter his ability or not, if he doesn't fit, he doesn't fit. You can't put a circle in a square peg and vice versa. So if it don't fit, it ain't gonna work. Which is a perfect example of that is what happened with Terrell McClain. When he was with us, he did decent. When he went with the Redskins, he didn't bust a grape. Why? Because they run a different scheme. They run a 3-4. And in their scheme and the way that they pull their defensive linemen and in general, it doesn't fit what we do. Terrell McClain ended up signing with Falcons, and I think that they only gave him a 1-year deal. So I don't understand how he didn't come to the Cowboys. I don't know what happened in their meetings, but they missed out on that one. But we still have guys that can. We still got guys on this defensive line that can still work. We still got Brian Price. We still have some of these young players out here that can show that they can work. Let's see what happens. Like, we got a lot of depth right now. When actual OTAs start on the 22nd of May, you're going to see a lot of competition, and it's going to be good for this team overall altogether. So back to the wide receivers. I'm sorry for jumping, but I got a lot on my brain right now. So probably should have wrote some of this down, but you know me, I'll be on the fly sometimes, and I just have something in my brain. I just got to bring it out to you. So I'm looking at this wide receiver core, and I'm happy what we have going forward. Because with Dez not being here, Dak can concentrate more on getting the ball to the open receiver instead of hearing this in the ear. Hey, I'm open, this and that, this and that. These guys are hungry. And it goes back to the philosophy of what Sanjay Lal just said. If your technique is right, your route running is crisp, and you're where you're supposed to be, you're going to get the ball. You're going to get the ball. You're going to get the ball. The ball's going to come to you. So you just got to be patient and wait. So with these young guys and everybody that we have collectively as a cohesive unit, I think that we're going to be fine at the wide receiver position. Because all of these wide receivers can catch the ball deep. Every single one of them can. I mean, you're not going to throw the ball deep to Cole maybe. But like I said, Cole, Tavon, Michael Gallup. Those three guys right there, in my opinion, I like the, and I'm coining another phrase for y'all too. Don't steal it. Grab and go receivers. And when I say grab and go, I mean they get that ball and they get them yards after the catch. Getting that yak. I'm telling you, they have the ability to get the ball and keep on running. You look at Michael Gallup's tape. You have already seen what Cole Beasley can do. And again, you've seen these guys do this already. So with these guys being able to do that, it opens up a lot of different avenues for this team. You see what Tavon Austin can do. You see what he did with the Rams. Now, if Tavon fixes his fumbling issues, that's a great pickup. I mean, I've seen him in practice doing some drills, and like I said, it's just practice. It's not real hitting or anything like that. But he looks elusive. He looks quick. So, and I think that he still got it. So that could potentially be a great pickup for us at the end of the day. Now, I go back and look at that. You got him. You got Cole, Gallup. T. Will helping with the blocking game and catching balls deep, and T. Will has the ability to make you mad one minute, and then the next minute, all of a sudden, he does something great, and you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I guess he's not that bad. So T. Will is gonna be T. Will. He's a body catcher. I don't care at this point, as long as you catch the damn ball. That's all I care. Just catch it. Catch the ball. That's my philosophy. Just catch the ball. Um, let's not forget about Deontay Thompson. Deontay Thompson, he's a quick guy too. People forget about him. I know that all these wide receivers probably not going to make the team, but if you look at the core of what we're working with, it's some possible. The possibilities are endless right now. Let's not forget about Noah Brown, and let's not forget about Lance Lenoir. I was always a big fan of Lance Lenoir from what he did in the preseasons before. That cat's hungry. He might sneak up and get in here and win a job on this wide receiver core too. And Noah Brown has the ability. He's shaped like Dez. He's got that big sturdy body. So hey, sky's the limits, man. It's time to play ball, y'all. Put up or shut up. These guys got to come out here. They got to prove that they, and I guess who, whoever wanted more is gonna get the job. That's pretty much what's gonna happen. So Sanjay Lau being the coach is gonna help this wide receivers core tremendously. You guys are gonna see the difference. I'm telling you because it's already changing. Already, what's going on, and I think I was talking to somebody else. They were mentioning it too. Like it goes back to what happened in the '90s when after the Super Bowl run when the team got fully broken up and a lot of the great players left, and then they had to cut people and they couldn't re-sign people, and they had a whole new regime in here. It's like that all over again. But if you look at it like that, I think that it's going to be better now because I think that these um, pieces that we have, and when I mean pieces, I mean the the coordinators that we sign, I think are great for these players to help them mature and get better. Now, if we don't make it to the playoffs this year, the only person you can blame right now, or only two players I can say, is Linehan and Coach Jason Garrett, because Linehan is still calling these plays, and Garrett is the head coach, and Garrett puts the game plan in place during the week for the players to practice upon and get them in the mindset to be great. If you're not putting your players in a position to be great, then you don't need to be coaching these players, period. So I look at it like that. Yeah, I guess you could say that this is Jason Garrett's year. You could say that he's on the hot seat. Let Dak go out there and be great. Dak can't be great unless you allow him to be great. So, um, last thing I want to say is a couple of these undrafted free agents. What's the guy? Quentin, the defensive tackle that we got. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me check. I think I have him somewhere in my old notes. Yeah, DeQuinton Osborne, defensive tackle out of Oklahoma State. Now, I'm gonna tell you some of the undrafted free agents that I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Kyle Cuero. That's a big guy that, and you already know Chris Richard likes big guys. So with Kyle, I think that if he learns the playbook and do some things, and we see him moving around and start making hits in training camp, that might be an undrafted player that they might be looking at. That could be. I'm not saying he's gonna be Cam Chancellor, but what I'm saying is that he has the opportunity to come in here and do great things. Cam Kelly, cornerback out of San Diego State. I'm looking at him too. And let's not forget about Tyree Robinson, safety out of Oregon Ducks. Those are the guys I'm looking at. And I think that out of all the undrafted players that we have, in my opinion, I think that those guys are going to be ones that can fight for some position and maybe make this team, if not the team, the practice squad. Because, oh yeah, and we keep forgetting about Marquez White. Let's not forget about Marquez White. Marquez White was drafted last year. He was on the practice squad all year. Hey, he's hungry too. Let's see what he can do, yo. So this offensive plan that we have by committee with our tight ends, our wide receivers, um, yeah, the offensive line is going to be sturdy because if Connor Williams wins that guard spot, we're solidified because you still have backups with Fleming and Marcus Martin. So I feel like we will have a complete team once we get these pieces together. We'll figure out what we're going to do with safety, whether we need to get a veteran, whether these guys step up and play well enough to make us feel comfortable as a fan base to follow that and be like, okay, we'll be good. But as far as that goes, we got to make sure we got that defensive tackle solidified. We got to make sure that safety position is solidified. Everything else will fall into play. We just got to let these young guys be great. If you don't allow your young guys, they're not going to maturate. And what's going to happen is when you cut them or it's time to sign them again and you can't sign them, they're going to go to another team and they're going to be great with another team. And you're going to be like, okay, that was a waste of talent. So we don't want that. So thank you guys. So with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope you had a great day. I hope the guys in your life made you feel special. And fellas, make your wives, make your mothers, your sisters, whatever, make them feel good on this day. With that being said, it's your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Talk to y'all soon.